All right, we are back here wrapping up the Just End the Suffering pop culture party for Halloween year number 2 with a special Star Wars edition of the Sky Guys talking about Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Joining me today, the man whose voice you heard in our narration a minute ago, Pete Consadori. Pete, how are you?
I always come on here saying I love talking Star Wars, but as a kid, I loved Legos as well. So
Yep.
this hit home. This was nice. This was a fun time for me, and I'm excited to talk about it in brief here.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the Lego Star Wars. I mean, I got some right here. I got R2 right here. I was already showing off Mando and Grogu before, so I got my Legos here too. I'm good to go.
Yeah, no, I mean I I always loved Legos. I mean, the things that Lego is doing nowadays, they just released like a Titanic, which is like their biggest set ever, which is
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Uh, they've been just climbing to the top when it comes to just like kids' toys, but also now like collectors' items. This is a lot more than just kids building um very small
Battleships.
items and
Yeah.
battleship. Yeah, so for them to get into the video game scene as well as now like the shorts and the movies and stuff like that, it's really cool to see how they've grown through the years.
All right. Also joining us today, the other half of the Dueling Monstrosities. Nick Fraietta is here. Nick, how are you?
Doing great. I definitely was a big Lego guy too growing up. I mean, not as big as you guys, but still pretty big. But I'm excited to talk about this. And as Pete said, like getting into video games and stuff. I'm also really excited for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game to come out. I had the which one was it? What was it called? I think it was called the Complete Saga.
Yeah,
One to
episode
six, I think.
1 to 6. I had that on PS3, I want to say, and I'm excited to play this one now. And I guess PS5. So I get delayed. It's supposed to come out already, I think. But
It's been delayed several times because development, a little bit of development hell, but they keep saying
yeah,
it's coming. But I believe when I see it at this point.
there wasn't. It looks like I feel like it's too close to not come out. It will come, but I don't know when.
Yeah, and have you ever been inside the Lego store? Like, when was the last time you went there?
I used to work actually right across the street, but we used to just look from the window.
Yeah,
I never really went inside, but I would look through the window.
it is a magical place. I do like to go there every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I was just there. I just got the Lego Fender set.
Nice.
Fender car. Yeah, no, I had to.
Yeah, I scooped the Lego Advent calendar. I always love to do that around Christmas.
Let me just confirm that this is where I think it is. No, I think I'm thinking of the wrong one. This is Rockefeller Center, right?
You might be that one you're talking about because there is one down that direction. Like, I went to the one in the Danbury Mall recently.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the one that's on. So I used to work near the Flatiron Building in New York City.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
down by Avenue of the Americas.
That's where I used to work, by the Flatiron Building, and there's one right there. So I didn't know there were a ton. I thought there was just one massive one. I didn't even know there were many.
There's some in malls. So, like, I know like the Danbury Mall in Connecticut has one. I know the Palisades Mall has one. So there are more
But
places to go find Legos.
You want to know an interesting fact about Lego?
Sure.
It's not the biggest, but Lego is one of the biggest privately owned companies in the world.
I
Yeah.
believe it.
You cannot buy shares of Lego.
Yeah. So we are giving a nice PSA for Lego before we get into the Lego Star Wars product. So before we dive into this one specifically, I want to ask, like, Pete, I'll start with you. Like, how many of these Lego Star Wars things have you seen? There's a bunch on Disney Plus. You watched any of them before today?
Not the Lego Star Wars. I've watched the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I've seen that, but none of the Lego Star Wars movies or shorts or anything like that.
Yeah. Nick, did you watch the one last year they did, the holiday special one?
Yeah, I watched that. What was it called? I think it was called the Holiday Special, right?
It was the Lego
Yeah.
Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, I watched that, and that was pretty good. I don't really, honestly, I'll be honest, I don't really remember what happens. I remember Ray was in it, and she kind of went back in time, I think.
Yeah, she was time traveling.
Yeah, I watched that. I liked it. I liked this one as well. And then I've seen, I think it's called, Droid Tales. I watched Droid Tales. There's 5 episodes. It's like R2 and 3PO telling stories of just old things that happened in Star Wars. It was pretty fun too.
Does it work better than the droid episodes of Clone Wars Rebels that Pete hates?
Yeah, because they're not the main characters. They're just telling a story. Remember in Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, when 3PO is telling them on the story of Darth Vader, he's telling all the Ewoks the story.
Yes.
It's like that, but they just show it. It's like, and then this happened, and it just shows you what happened.
All right, for sure. So we're gonna go into the spoilers here, and since I played the general spoiler song at the spoiler song at the top of the podcast for all the stuff we covered today, we did Doom, we did Midnight Mass, did some Squid Games, a little bit of Legend of the Hidden Temple, but we are going into spoilers here for the Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales special on Disney Plus. And if you have not watched it, I'm going to give you the warning to get out. I know this is, again, not something to be heavily spoiled, but just in case, this is what you need to know to get out of here. I know Pete Consadori appreciated that sound drop.
Yeah, I mean, is that what we're using for the spoiler now? The St. Louis Blues goal song.
That's what we're using for the spoilers on this podcast specifically.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was a little confused. I'm like, wait, did the St. Louis Blues win? I didn't know. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, we did that just because I played the Star Trek spoiler red alert sign at the top of the podcast. So this is for every individual segment we're doing the Gloria.
I like it. That's great.
All right, so let's get into the general plot here. So, Nick, you want to take us through here the general storyline? Don't give me super specific. So,
they're trying to build a hotel on Vader's castle. I guess is the main point. I guess you could say, and you kind of go through you get through three little stories. I guess there's four. Is there four or three?
There's three.
There's three little stories. There's the one with Kylo Ren. There's the one with Darth Maul, and there's the one with Luke.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty fun. They're all pretty good stories. You know, obviously none of this stuff's canon. And it's a fun little adventure. All of them. I liked one of them especially more than the others. We'll get into it. But yeah. Just, you know, not to spoil anything further, I guess we'll discuss it as we go. I don't want to give the whole plot away, but that's essentially what happens is they're trying to build a hotel on Vader's castle in Mustafar.
Yeah, and Pete, the other thing that Nick didn't mention, Poe Dameron crashes there at BB-8, and they're basically the protagonists of the story.
Yeah, no, I liked how they kind of took it chronologically, right? So Resistance is kind of still very prominent. You know, Poe is a very, very famous pilot at this point. So I liked it. I like how they just continued it, and it wasn't just like we're going to throw it somewhere in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And he crashes on the planet with his X-wing is damaged, right? He runs the five first order starfighters. Like, why the hell you guys not know if this battle's over already? So he gets shot down, and he goes and meets Karbala the Hutt, which I thought was so damn funny. He's like the capitalist venture here, and he gives Zero a run for his money. He's the worst Hutt I've ever seen.
Horrible.
Yeah,
I don't. Can we get away from like the Hutt family for like one, maybe two movies or shows or something? Like, yeah, can we just like move on?
Yeah, Nick, would you have any thoughts on Karbala the Hutt?
No, just a pretty terrible character. But I guess not as bad as Zero, honestly. I mean, Zero was the main focus of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I guess he wasn't really the main focus here, so it wasn't that bad.
No, Karbala, I don't know if either of you guys are Star Trek people, but he reminds me just like a Ferengi from Star Trek, where all he cares about is just money, capitalism.
Not a Trekkie.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference.
All right, well, the Trekkies out there understand the reference. So those of you who did, good job. So we're gonna go into now. Basically, we see like a Sidious type of mini clone Lego guy named Vanny, who I love how he calls him Darth Hideous at the beginning of the podcast. That the show that was very funny. But then he tells us three tales about Sith artifacts he finds in there. Let's go through each of them real quickly. The Lost Boy, which is the Kylo Ren short. I think the worst of the three by far. I think seeing Kylo join the dark side and his basically being recruited by a street gang is funny. But I think the only meaningful thing here, Nick, is Christian Slater being the voice of Red. I thought that was hilarious.
It was. So you mentioned this earlier than I wanted to bring this up, but I'll bring this up now because you mentioned the voices. And I think there's a huge positive, but also a huge negative with it. So they got a lot of great people in there, like Christian Slater, right? You can name some others. Probably you were naming them off. I don't really know why off the top of my head, but they got big names in there, and that's awesome. But a lot of the characters who were known characters just sounded nothing like the character, and it kind of draws you away from the experience a little bit. That's like my only negative I have to say about this whole Terrifying Tale experience is like the voice of Luke and Vader, it doesn't sound like Luke and Vader, and it kind of draws me away a little bit.
Yes, I noticed they did draw on some of the Clone Wars character voice actors for some of the characters. They work for them, but I just
like Maul.
Obi-Wan is voiced by James Arnold Taylor in there. I think,
and that works, but some of the guys didn't sound like they should, and it kind of throws me off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here. I'm going to go back and look at the cast of the holiday special while I try and fill that in.
But the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm listening to, his name is Ren, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, who is this guy? Who? I know his voice, and I had to look it up, and then saw it was him. But I definitely recognized that voice right away, and it sounded good for that. But like for the voice of Kylo Ren not being Adam Driver, it throws me off.
Yeah, Pete, what did you think about the Christian Slater appearance in here?
I mean, cool, but I think the whole thing that threw me off was that Kylo Ren's backstory of becoming a Sith Lord is a biker gang. I obviously everything that Nick was saying, this is all not canon, but like I have it's so bad it's good in my opinion, right? Like a biker gang is what made Kylo Ren. And Kylo was like, I don't even know about this. Like I don't think this is what I want. And then like he winds up fighting Slater's character. It was fine. Not the best, but I found it funny. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was that's all we really need to know. Any funny bits stick out to you from that story, Nick, or no?
Nothing specific, not really. That was my least favorite story. I guess. Yeah, never mind. Nothing I have to say positive, so I'm just gonna stop.
I think it just goes to show you that the sequel stuff is the worst of the Star Wars because it's easily the least compelling story of the three.
All right, well, you said it, so now I'll jump back.
Yeah,
I stopped myself because I didn't want to sound too negative, but you said it, so
yeah, because like that's the best we come up with is that of all the sequel material we have.
Well, Mike, I'm proud because I think that 9 months ago, 10 months ago, your opinion on some of the Star Wars stuff after seeing a lot of the extended material is changing slowly, and you're kind of seeing where a lot of people come from who are critical on some things Star Wars related.
Yeah. I also did pull the voice cast from last year's like a holiday special, this for reference here, comparison to this year's cast. I mean, they had some of the movie actors in it. Anthony Daniels was in it as C-3PO. They got Billy D. Williams for Lando. I think they had D. Bradley Baker do the clones, but right, Daisy Ridley's not there as Rey. I think Kelly Marie Tran's there as Rose Tico, but like a lot of the other people are like either Clone Wars vets or just random people. They had more big names in this cast than they did, but like none of the actual like Star Wars actors.
Which is, I think, a good thing and a bad thing. You don't have the right actor, so it throws me off, but at least you have big names.
Okay. Let's go on now to the second story here, which is the Dueling Monstrosities. And Pete, we got a Clone Wars reference in this.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. You have to remind me though, because I watched this a couple days ago.
Yeah, we actually got them referencing Maul being resurrected by Mother Talzin.
Yes, you're right. So can we?
I think that was the right voice. I think that was her voice.
It sounded like it, but can we just appreciate the fact that they try to use like a probe droid,
yes,
to be his feet, and then they just went back with the whole spider thing when that's what his original stuff, his original feet were or legs were.
Yeah.
I found that funny, and I just think his whole back and forth with Darth Sidious was great too. I actually enjoyed his character a lot. As a whole, I know we'll talk about this later too. As a whole, the movie the 40-minute short was hysterical because it was so bad. Like it was this dry humor that always cracks me up. This stupid dry humor that's just like, okay, I get exactly what's going on here. It's terrible, but every little joke that's cracked, I laughed.
Yeah, it's typical Lego humor. If you watch the Legos thing, you know exactly what you're getting. They deliver. And I did think it was funny that years and years after the Clone Wars was canceled and we didn't get the Grievous versus Maul fight, we only got it in the comic book. Now we got a version of it here. I thought it was funny they showed back up. Nick, what do you think about that?
I was excited to see it finally.
Yeah.
Those are two characters that did they ever really cross paths? No. Same with Anakin and Grievous. As much as so many times they almost crossed paths, they never did. But yeah, cool to see that happen finally. Two characters that you were very similar. They were around at the same time, kind of played a similar role for their respective movies and the main movie trilogy, like prequel trilogy, but never really interacted. And that's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Kind of like Boba Fett and the hell is her name? Captain Phasma. Like they never interacted. They're kind of similar characters in a way, and it'd be cool to see them see each other. Maybe they will in the Book of Boba Fett. I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah, you never know. But I will say also, I do think it's funny that the Darth Maul sort of adapting her comic was a source of inspiration for at least part of this short.
I hear that was a good comic.
Yeah, so maybe it's one we should do it in off season, like Sky Guys, go back and read that comic and review it.
I can read a comic or two. I don't know how you get your hands on them. How do you even buy comics? Do you do like
I would guess
Amazon or
eBay maybe.
Yeah, eBay, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Well, we look for that. Discuss that one. I think we should go on to the third and final tale here. I think is the best one by far, the Wookiees Paw, and I think, P, I like this because it was very much sort of like the Star Wars version of What If. Like, what if Luke actually joined the Imperial Academy?
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed it. I just found it was just so cheesy. Like, I want to be better.
Yeah.
Wookiee Paw. Oh, I'm better. And then it just ends up being like, oh, you accidentally blew up the Death Star. Yeah, great. It was pretty funny, and I did like the what if factor to it. I think somewhere on Instagram I saw like a what if with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka Tano if they were all Imperials.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool to see. So I
saw that too.
Yeah, it was a cool. I think it would be cool to do it in a more serious note as well, but the Lego just made it 10 times better just with humor. I mean, I feel like you can't take them being Imperials seriously, so I think in a humorous way is the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Nick, I did love all the callbacks to the films, whether it was Luke banging his head on the door as a stormtrooper and falling down, and him carrying Vader on his back running through the hallway when he's doing doing Sith training, and him like basically learning how to force choke. That one got me laughing.
So I think this was really funny, but I think beyond the humor, I think this needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it will happen. I think the world, pretty much anyone who's watched this, any review I've seen online, anything on Instagram, on social media, people are like, "Whoa, Star Wars needs a what if."
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
we're at the first step, but I think it's going to happen. It writes itself. It's people have been wondering it forever. The number one thing people are wondering is, what if Anakin never turned to the dark side? Obviously, that's the main one, but there's so many other what ifs in Star Wars that make, I don't know, it would be such an interesting thing to watch. Like, I know, Mike, you watched the Marvel one. Pete, did you watch the Marvel what if? So I saw I think half of them, maybe a little more. I may finish them up. I'm not sure, but like they were good. I didn't love them, but they were good. But Star Wars, it would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible to see. What if Qui-Gon Jinn never died? What if, similar. What if Luke missed to shoot the Death Star? Like,
right.
All of these, there's tons of things you can come up with, and I would love to see them all.
Yeah, and P, I think it's also interesting here. I think even the idea of the what if is like not even the fact that we have to do like live action. We could do what Marvel did in animated.
Yeah.
We have a talented animation studio doing stuff like Bad Batch. Like imagine animation doing what ifs like every do 10 of them for a season. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean they have it all under their belt, right? They had Clone Wars, they had Rebels, they had Bad Batch. Now, I mean they can easily do animation. What if 10 episode season, just hit every single arc. I mean, even if you want to go, as long as like maybe a 30-minute episode, I feel like that would be appropriate for it just to get everything in. Maybe you need a 40-minute, I don't know. But like Nick was saying, it writes itself. We all know as Star Wars fans what we want to see. So it's not like they have to go to the depths of the writer's, desk to see where to go with certain aspects. It's literally already there.
Yeah, for sure. And Nick, my other favorite moment of this was Leia being in the X-Wing in the final Death Star fight there with Obi-Wan flying alongside. It's like, oh, thank you for saving me. So it's sort of implying in the What If universe that Obi-Wan lives if Leia is the one leading the mission, not Luke.
Yeah, so maybe Luke joining was a bad thing.
Yeah.
It cost Obi-Wan his life. But also one more thing I want to add on the What If is the one negative we might get there is Marvel, I don't know why it is, they were able to get those voice actors I really doubt Star Wars can get the voice actors. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just do. I feel like first of all, there's no shot in the world Harrison Ford is doing that.
Oh hell no.
There's no shot in the world. But like, I get Mark Hamill would definitely do it. He does a lot of voice acting, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel like other people would do it, and I don't know why I feel that way. I don't know if you guys agree. I know a lot of people are no longer around. A lot of people were passed on, but people who are around, like, would Hayden Christensen do it? Would Ian McDermott do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, would you be able to get like even not even them like they couldn't? Could you get Oscar Isaac to show up for one of these? You wanted to use Poe in something?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was easier for Marvel because their universe, I guess, it was only like 2-3 years ago that we were all seeing Endgame, and all of them are in it. And it was only like 2 years ago. It's a big deal. But if you're gonna grab somebody from the prequel trilogy now, you're talking 16 years since the last movie.
Well,
Maybe that matters.
Did come back for the sequels.
Yeah,
which blows my mind.
Right. So I mean, look, I mean, I don't want to be that guy where say the price is right, but I mean, who knows? They might. I mean, we don't know who's coming back for the Obi-Wan, right? There's been rumors and cast listing, I'm assuming, right, of the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
People are coming back for that. So as much as Harrison Ford may have said publicly or acts like he doesn't want to do it, he probably would.
Yeah,
I think love that.
I don't think he ever would. I think you might get some of the ones who are coming in for the show. Like you might get Ewan McGregor to show up, be Obi-Wan. I could see that happening.
If you can't get Harrison Ford, take the guy from the other movies, the Solo guy. What was his name?
I don't want Aaron Reich.
He's better than
at this point, yeah.
Better than James Franco doing it.
Yeah.
Or someone random. I don't know why I said him.
Yeah. I can imagine what a James Franco Han Solo would look like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think in terms of the what ifs, though, I do think like you could get a lot done here with like, don't forget the voice actors in Clone Wars themselves are pretty good. So like, if you want to bring them back in, like I'll be fine with that because like a lot
a lot of the characters, like if you hear Anakin speak, you're probably more used to the Clone Wars version than you are the movie version with the amount of lines he's had.
Yeah. I don't think like it's not like jarring where like you would show up and like, oh, like it's not like Hayden Christensen doing it, but at the same time, like the Marvel what ifs didn't have Robert Downey Jr. be Tony Stark, and it wasn't that noticeable.
Yeah, most people were the same in that, I believe, but he was not.
They had some of the big names were not there for those. They didn't have RDJ, they didn't have Chris Evans, they didn't have ScarJo, they didn't have Brie Larson. So like
they did have like Josh Brolin, and they did have Chadwick and Chris Hemsworth, I believe.
Yeah, they had him. They had Ruffalo.
I don't know if they had. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Chris Pratt.
I don't know. They did not have Chris Pratt.
Oh,
yeah. So they didn't get most of the.
Well, they did. Yeah, it seems like they didn't get everybody. Then
got most of their B listers.
And to me, it sounded good.
They got most of the B listers though, which Star Wars didn't do for either of these.
Yeah, well,
they try.
Do you think that?
I think it was not a Lego project. They might try harder.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think that like an actual what if thing, they would actually try harder, and people would be more inclined to say yes? Also, I think maybe they did try and they say no because it's the Lego thing, but if it's a what if thing, maybe they'd be more interested.
I think with the Lego thing, I think it's easier to say, it's kids we're watching. Nobody cares. We're just gonna, put our sound like and bring in the Clone Wars people. But like for the cartoons that don't have like a established like voice actor in there, like we don't have an animated Han Solo in there. We don't really have an animated Luke Skywalker as of yet. And again, I could be wrong we haven't seen Rebels season 3 yet or 4, so I could be wrong on that. But like any of these characters we don't have an animated version of, I can see them going to like, hey, Mark Hamill, here's some money. You want to come do this?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a must though for Star Wars, regardless of how they do it, who they get to do it. It's a must. It's a complete, absolute.
He would do
must.
it. Hamill would definitely do it.
Hamill would definitely do it. He does everything.
He would be on board in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he would. And I want to see Akbar in a what if too.
What do you want to see? Just him in it, or what you want a story revolved around him?
We get a story with him revolved around.
What if he didn't know it was a trap?
We could do that. We could do him.
What if they showed his death on screen?
What if he survives with Carrie Poppins?
You know what? I wouldn't watch the show. If they ever mentioned Carrie Poppins, that, whole, well, they're not going to mention the actual name Carrie Poppins, but like if that whole scene ever comes back up anywhere else, I won't watch the show. I'll boycott it.
All right. So I think that's all you need to know. At the end, the plot doesn't work. Poe brings a Force-sensitive boy he meets with him to go get trained by Rey. That's the end of the thing. So great. Pete, grade this.
Can I just say that Poe takes like a jab at Rey's Force ability?
Yes. It was
like anyone else like catch on that? He's like, yeah, she knows it a little bit. Like, yeah, we know. I know someone that knows a little bit about the Force.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be more like, oh, like I know a person like sarcastic, but I also kind of took it as like, is that a jab at Rey? I would rate it a solid 7. And the reason why I'm going a little high here is because the humor factor just saved it for me. Yeah. I mean, again, this is not canon stuff. This is not deep hitting Star Wars stuff, but come on, you got a Hutt trying to build a hotel on Darth Vader's castle in Mustafar, and you have this like just really funny plot point. So that's why I give it a 7, just from the humor. If you want to go storyline, it's like a 4 or 5 for me.
Yeah, I also will give a shout out to the Ren story, just for the one line that was funny when Kylo's complaining. He's like, how long did Luke actually train to be a Jedi and take? About like 20 minutes. It's probably about the actual length of the sequence in the movie.
That was really good. That was really good too. That was funny.
Yeah. Nick, what was your grade on this thing?
I think I'll give it an 8. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. It was nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to take the story seriously, like Kylo, becoming a Ren from a biker gang, all that. So like, you need to take it for what it is. And doing that, it was really funny. It was interesting. It opened my eyes to this what if thing, which really has me excited because I'm like,
I want this.
I know I said, yeah, I want it. And I really think it's going to happen. I think everyone wants it. Who wouldn't want it? Like, who's going to be like, oh, that's stupid? Yeah. No one. So I'm really excited for it. And I love the Lego humor. I saw the Lego movie. I also saw the Lego Batman movie. And like, they're really good. Like Lego, whatever it is that they do, it's really good.
Yeah, this is not an advertiser of Lego, but I'm going to give it an 8 as well, because again, this was, what it is coming in. You're not going to take it seriously. I still laughed. I enjoyed it. Like, this is not like me cringing getting through some of the bad Clone Wars episodes. This is not the space whales. Like, this is enjoyable.
Very, yeah. I was, and even if it wasn't enjoyable, I say this all the time, it's only 40 minutes. It's not droid arcs in the Clone Wars where it's 4 episodes. As Pete said, it's a month. A month of space whales.
Yeah, no more space whales, but we'll be back soon. We're going to be coming back to do Rebel Season 3 about a week or so from when this is out in your ears. This will be a lot of fun, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to plug some socials as we go on there. Pete, how can we follow social media? What's all the stuff you're up to?
At PJ Consadori 29, hockey season's in full swing. So definitely doing a lot of retweeting. We just released that podcast, a couple weeks ago about the NHL starting. So everything's going well there. So follow me there.
Yeah. And Nick is not revealing yet, but it will be soon.
You can follow at Ken_Rosenthal, and he'll tweet whenever the Yankees decide that they made a mistake, that Aaron Boone should not be the manager. So follow him for the update there.
All right. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. We'll be back soon with Rebel Season 3.